I do have it on. See that?
Yeah, you're a real one, bro.
When y'all had Thunder. The Warriors and Thunder.
Yep. When Baron Davis dunked all over fucking dude from Utah.
Andre Karolinko.
That guy.
I remember that. That shit was crazy.
Whose jersey is that? Was that Jay Rich?
Nah, that's Steven Jackson.
It's Captain
Jack. I can't
Jack.
see the number. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Captain Jack.
There you go.
That on. Especially in these times, it's kind of a good jersey to be wearing.
Yeah. Statement.
But all right, we'll get it started. 5, 4, 3, 2. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome. It is the All-Pro JAFFOs. JP here, NC, Kountry K. Welcome to the 23rd, our Jordan episode, where we're getting to break things down while we're breaking ground at the same time. This episode is brought to you by Groundbreaking Enterprises, local real estate fix and flip company ready to solve your real estate needs. Give them a call, 510-646-7891, or follow them at Facebook and Instagram. Together, we can form a groundbreaking solution. Thank you guys for helping sponsor the show. Coming from the Coach-Nish Zoom room. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. On this day in pro sports history, yes, we're bringing back that segment. On this day in pro sports history in 1928, on July 31st, in the first women's Olympic track event, American sprinter Elizabeth Robinson equals her own world record of 12.2 seconds to win the 100-meter gold medal in Amsterdam. The Canadians Fanny Rosenfeld and Ethel Smith in a dead heat with 12.3, literally a split second away from the gold. Also, Yankees first baseman Lou Gehrig drives in 8 runs in a grand slam with 2 doubles and a 14-3 win over the rival Boston Red Sox. I thought you would like that, Kountry K. Also, in 1932, the Cleveland Indians christened their new home, the Municipal Stadium, before more than 76,000 fans, only to lose the home opener 1-0 to the Philadelphia A's. Leave it to Cleveland to screw it all up for the fans. And a birthday for the big legend of the MLB, Larry Doyle, American baseball's second baseman, the National League MVP in 1912. On this day in pro history in 1886, the NL batting champion, 1915 New York Giants, who was born in Cassville, Illinois, died on 1974. So that was on this day in pro sports history. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. The episode 23, our Jordan episode, and it wouldn't be a Jordan episode without talking about the NBA. It is finally back. We finally got this scrimmage shit out of the way. We got all this nonsense basketball that only built everybody's hopes up. And now, as of yesterday, the NBA return season is finally back. Yesterday, the whole thing started with New Orleans versus, Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz ended up taking that 106-104. Zion, what's going on with Zion? Him being held to 15 minutes the entire game?
It's his first scrimmage game.
But it's not a scrimmage game.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. It's his first game. He didn't play in the scrimmage. That's what I meant to say. He didn't play in the scrimmage game. So they did the same thing to Pat Beverly last night against the Lakers. Like, literally the same thing. Pat Beverly played 16 minutes.
I mean, for the 15 minutes that he was in there, he went 6 for 8 with an assist, a behind-the-back little assist down underneath to Lonzo Ball. He also got 13 points, but he had 2 turnovers within that 15 minutes. Brandon Ingram for New Orleans was going off a little bit. He went, field goal percentage-wise, maybe not so well, but 7 for 20, 2 for 8 from the three-point line, 8 rebounds, a block, 23 points within 33 minutes. And then when you go to the point guards, those are pretty much the true stars of the game for, basically 1 point guard. Lonzo Ball didn't really do shit. He only ended the game with 4 points. Drew Holiday had 20 points, 3 steals, 4 assists, 5 rebounds, a block, all within 37 minutes. But Pelicans still couldn't pull it off against the Jazz. Donovan Mitchell had himself a pretty decent game, 20 points, 3 steals, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 2 for 4 at the three-point line with 36 minutes. Jordan Clarkson off the bench had himself a game, 23 points. Mike Conley had himself a game with 23 points. That's what I meant to say. It was the Jazz point guards who went off yesterday. So that being the first game, your guys' opinion? What do you guys think?
Yeah, it was a good one, man. It was entertaining. I thought it was perfectly ironic that who is it? Gobert, who actually was the reason that they ended up shutting the league down to begin with. The first player that tested positive for the coronavirus ended up hitting the game-winning free throws to win it. That was something.
He had 12 rebounds that game too.
Yeah, man, he had double-double. He played well. Came down to that last shot with Brandon Ingram, who was balling in that game, but he bricked that three to win the game and might have eliminated the Pelicans from the playoffs. We'll see.
So what do you think, Kay?
I don't think they're eliminated because they're next.
Yeah, they're still technically alive, but that one hurt.
Yeah, no, it did, but at the same time, I think they're going to bounce back next game because Zion's going to be over 20 minutes. They're going to play him over 20.
He's got to play 30 minutes. They got to give him 30 minutes on the court.
He needs to be right now, like the fact that it's going to be his second game back, he needs to be somewhere in between 20 to 25. You don't need to go 30 right now.
They're thinking long-term with him, man. They're not rushing him back.
Yeah,
no one's expecting a championship out of New Orleans this year.
This year's playoffs is not going – they're not going to do anything with this year's playoffs because they're going to end up facing, the Lakers or the Clippers. They're going to get their ass.
Man. Yeah. Yep, they'd be playing the 1 seed Lakers if they even got in. Good luck.
So whoever takes that 8th seed is going to get their ass whooped regardless. Like, it's going to be bad. Like, if it's Memphis, they're going to get smacked on. If it's the Pelicans, smacked on. Shit, if Portland makes a push and make it in there, they're going to get smacked on.
They beat the Grizzlies today. Yeah.
So it's whoever makes that AFC is getting smacked on, like regardless, especially how the Lakers game went last night.
Yeah, seriously, that Lakers-Clippers game was very interesting. LeBron hitting, obviously, the game-winning point. Final of that game, Lakers 103, Clippers 101. For the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard ended with 28 points, 2 blocks, 2 steals, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 from 4. Kawhi Leonard's all over the place all the time.
He's balling.
That's just that type of player. 33 minutes on the floor. Paul George had himself a freaking game. 30 points, 3 steals, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 for 11 at the three-point line, 11 for 17 from the field goal, and 34 minutes on the court. Still wasn't enough because Anthony Davis also went off for the Lakers. 34 points, 4 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 for 5 at the three-point line, field goal percentage 8 for 19, 35 minutes on the court. LeBron, after a very, very, very sluggish 3 quarters, decided to turn it on there at the 4th. Ended up with 34 minutes that he was on the floor. He only got 16 points, which is, I think, the first time I've seen LeBron under 20 points in a very, 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 very long time.
He was playing facilitator a lot.
Yeah, he absolutely did because he ended up with 7 assists, a block, a steal, 11 rebounds, 2 for 7 at the three-point line, 6 for 19 from the floor, and the game-winning bucket. So I guess when he needed to turn it on, he turned it on. And, that game was pretty good from beginning to end. Him and Kawhi going at it back and forth was pretty cool to watch. So, thoughts? What we got?
It was competitive, man. It was awesome. Being a Laker fan, I was excited about it in the game that, technically didn't matter much as far as standing them being like 6 games ahead. But I thought it was like a good opportunity for the 2 top seeds to kind of make that statement, since I think most people are expecting the championship to run through LA this year.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, the superstars delivered. AD with 34, 2 clutch threes in the fourth quarter to get them caught back up. What really shocked me though, man, was towards the end of the game, kind of seeing who was going to play the Batman and Robin role, and seeing PG get the last shot over Kawhi and bricking there.
Whoa, what happened?
It was kind of surprising, man. I expected Kawhi to kind of throw it.
Like the first time in 10 years, Kawhi got locked up. Like, he got locked up.
They got memes already going on that.
Yeah, seriously. So, all right, 2 questions. First, did my shoe thing work in the beginning? No?
I seen it.
Yes, did it work?
What were you trying to do, man? I seen your foot.
I was trying to get to the Jordan logo, but it really didn't work. I was like, fuck it, let me just take my shoe off.
I understand what you're trying to do there.
And where is that shirt from?
For you office nuts out there. That's from The Office, bro.
I knew I remembered that shirt.
Yeah,
okay.
one of the cringiest moments in television history, but we digress.
That's for sure. Oh, man. Well, from the NBA, in the NBA standpoint, it didn't just end from there. Today continued the return of the NBA. So far going on right now is the Rockets and the Mavericks, which currently watching live at this moment. But what happened today earlier was Trailblazers and the Grizzlies going into overtime. Final score of that game was the Trailblazers getting one over the Grizzlies, 140 to 135. Carmelo Anthony with 20 points. Lillard with 29. McCollum had himself 33. It just – the Trailblazers are a pretty scary team, to be completely honest. When they turn it on, they can be very, very deadly. So if they do make the playoffs, even if it is going through LeBron and LA, I still feel like Portland can be a team that if any team was going to pull off an upset of the number 1 seed, it'd probably be them.
Yeah, not a team I'd take lightly for sure. Not a team I want to see, honestly, just with all of those shooters, streaky guys that can go off for 40 at any given time. It would be a interesting series.
That and Carmelo is the only person in that era, on that team that can lock up LeBron.
Oh, Melo ain't never played much defense, but he sure will go at him. I'll tell you that much. They've been in the league about the same amount of time.
That's literally the only time Melo plays defense. Like one of the few times. When he plays LeBron, he plays defense. And that's about all I can think about right now, honestly, because he really doesn't play defense, to your point.
But overall, though, what do you guys think of Ja Morant having himself pretty decent little highlight game? He
just locking up that Offensive Rookie of the Year award, man.
He ended up with 22. He had 11 assists. The dude went off pretty much. He had that highlight dunk, that alley-oop that he picked up. That kid can fly.
Oh, yeah, man. Future superstar for sure.
I like Brandon Clark better.
Brandon Clark's good, but Ja Morant, my God.
No.
Yeah. He's looking generational type talent.
Oh my God, this is too early for this praise. Honestly, bro, all he is dunks. I swear, I'm gonna continue on this path with me and Kendrick Nunn. This man is he's cool, but all he can do is dunk the ball. You're getting passes to players. Firstly, all right, so let me scratch this.
Same could be said for Russell Westbrook.
No. Don't disrespect Russell. Don't disrespect the Brody. Don't disrespect him. The reason why, all right, so let me get to my first point. Ja Morant didn't become Ja Morant till they got all those Miami players. That's firstly, because he had a bunch. So you're doing this? He had James Johnson, Justice Winslow, which he's kind of obsolete. But I'm just going to just say only James Johnson. I'm going to just make this point for James Johnson. James Johnson, one, is the sensei. Third-degree black belt. Has nothing to do with basketball, but the mindset with that, like, bro, his toughness is unmatched. So he can bring these rookies and these young players to the point of defense because he came from Miami. He was at Miami for, 2-3 years? He played with D-Wade. He understands how to win games. You know what I'm saying? Because we went to the playoffs, all this stuff last year.
I mean,
but James
I get
Johnson,
that. The supporting cast is there, but I mean, the guy, you can't take away from what the guy's accomplished in his, rookie year. He's averaging 18 points a game, 7 assists. I mean, he's balling right now. And yeah, you start throwing posters on people like that, man. That's what turn heads. That's what the fans remember.
I guess. I guess he's just a bunch of dunks, and it's not really hard to get 18 points in Memphis, to be honest with you. Who the fuck else is in Memphis? Brandon Clark and barbecue. That's all you got.
Oh, man. Other games that happened earlier today, we had the Spurs winning against the Kings, 129-120. The Bucks going over the Celtics, 119-112. Suns, yeesh. I don't know about the Wizards right now. 125-112. And then the Magic handling the Nets a little bit, 128-118. So last game of the day is going on currently right now. They're at halftime. The Mavericks at this point are over the Rockets, 85-75. James Harden had himself a hell of a first quarter, but Luka just took over from there. And it's a 10-point game, but it's a lot closer than what you would see on the scoreboard. It's definitely not over, to say the least. There goes James Harden traveling, doing his famous 4-5 step back 3-point shot.
High score.
Begins the step back at the elbow, ends up 3 feet behind the 3-point line. Come on now. That's some sort of fancy footwork, voodoo magic, just ridiculous. Because I honestly don't know how the hell he covers that much ground.
They're saying during the game, man, if he finishes out averaging 34 points a game, there's only 2 other players in history who have done that, 2 back-to-back seasons, and that's, as you can imagine, Michael Jordan and then Will Chamberlain. So
he's also
elite
second
company.
all-time. He's second all-time in Rocket scoring behind Hakeem Olajuwon.
Crazy, man. Guys, impressive.
No, I agree. James Harden's definitely traveling. I agree. I'm not going to play devil's advocate on this one. Like, this man is definitely traveling.
So is Westbrook. I've seen him a couple of plays. It looks like, he probably is taking 2, but from the visual here, he just
called a Euro step, man.
Huh?
The crab dribble, a Euro step.
I get that, but god damn, you start the Euro step from the 3-point line and end up at the cup. Like, my God.
Wide strides. Honestly, man, I'm not no NBA player in the slightest, but I can possibly do that. Possibly, because once you get in the air, you're floating.
Yeah, but you're 6'10".
Wide strides.
You can cover that ground more than a guy like me who's 6'2", 6'3".
Westbrook's
definitely cover more ground than me.
Yeah, Westbrook's around your height. He's around your height, but Westbrook for sure runs with a wide stride. And,
he's also fast, so that speed carries him too.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Guy's like a 4-3 running back playing point guard.
Oh, my gosh. That's exactly what that's like.
He's just, but you know what? Like, I've seen his defense most of this game right now. He's physical as hell on the defensive side of the ball right now.
Athlete, man. Yeah, he's playing. They can't lose this game.
He's always attacking the cup. He's always going to be that slasher. He's always going to be that player. But defense right now, at least, compared to how he's been in the past, like, in my opinion, Russell Westbrook never really been the greatest defensive player. But at least in this game right now, his defense is pretty has stepped up quite a bit. He's everywhere. He's fucking
Yeah, it's a big one for both teams, man. I mean, you got Dallas in the 7th seed, and they're 3 games behind the Rockets right now. But I mean, I would want to be that 7th seed having to go to the Clippers. So it's a battle for seeding. They can't afford to drop these games.
Right now, currently, the game has restarted. There's 10:50 left in the game with 90-77 Dallas winning the game so far. We'll see how that goes. Well, I guess as the show comes on, we can keep updated as we're talking about everything else. But until then, we got some energy we need to talk about. And that energy that I'm talking about is Raise Energy. Ladies and gentlemen, Raise takes a giant leap of faith with instilling the highest quality formula to bring the customer a powerful yet sustained energetic experience to help push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, Raise has become the most popular and best rated energy drink on the market to date with a phenomenal flavor profile that puts most competitors to shame. You got flavors like Voodoo, Apollo, Galaxy. I think you would like that Voodoo one, NC. Guava mango, strawberry colada, new Baja lime. They got a new watermelon flavor that just came out. Get yourself the sample pack. They'll send you 4 different flavors in this sample pack, including a couple of little, the little Crystal Light. They look like that, but that's the flavors of the energy drink. Go ahead and throw that in your water. Get yourself some energy that way. You guys want to get yourself a sample pack or a big-ass case full of Raise Energy, go to repsports.com, REPP sports.com. Use your promo code ALPHA-RAISE to get 15% off of your order. Once again, ALPHA-RAISE. Become a part of the Raise Rebellion, repsports.com. Go get yourself some. Now, the MLB is in fucking trouble, guys.
An understatement.
The MLB is in trouble. 14 players, last time I checked, tested positive on the Marlins.
21 now.
Yep. 21 now?
21 now.
4+ games have already been postponed, not even games that aren't even including, the Marlins in them. Anything that has to involve the Phillies is getting basically pinned down. It's not looking good. It's definitely something that the NFL has been paying attention to, because the MLB, if you really look at it, they could have done the whole bubble concept. They really could have, because they do when they have the spring training games, you got basically all the teams from the NL and the Western divisions, basically, all going to Arizona for the Cactus League for their spring games. And the AL, like the Yankees and everyone towards that side of the coast, have the Grapefruit League. Now, people were questioning at the time whether or not they should do a bubble, kind of like what the NBA is doing right now. You're basically gathering up in one spot and doing it, but that's not how they did it. As far as there was a internal investigation for the Marlins, and the MLB found, and this is by Scott Miller, MLB internal investigation found the Marlins were very lax in following protocols during Atlanta trip last weekend. Players going out, players in hotel bar, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of MLB people very unhappy with Miami and how they've handled the whole situation. I mean, it's basically like Lou Williams going to Atlanta to Magic City. That's pretty much where the Miami Marlins ended up going, followed suit. Those lemon pepper wings must be amazing down at that club, to be completely honest with you. But for them to be lax, as much as the MLB went through trying to come up with something to get the season going, to have basically an entire team risk, not just the safety of their own players, but the safety of other players and other staff members, by going out and doing some stuff like that, it's not, necessarily a good look for that team. So I would probably expect some heavy penalties, heavy fines, something coming down on the Marlins really, really soon. Because if we look at it right now, let's see. They had, as far as I go for today, they had 3 postponed games. And that was, 3 postponed games. Yesterday they had 4. See, the Cubs and the Reds, neither one of them aren't with Philly. Neither one of them Miami. They're having problems. Phillies, Yankees, they're having problems. Marlins, Orioles, obviously they're having problems. And then they came up with the rule to have, for basically to make up for it, these double headers that they're going to be having.
7 inning.
7 inning double headers. So, I don't know.
I don't see it working, man. I mean, they had the commissioner, Rob Manfred, tell the Players Association a few hours ago that basically if the sport doesn't do a better job of managing it, they are going to shut it down.
I mean, after a week and a half.
Man. Yeah, that's insane, man. I think you've seen kind of 2 different approaches to trying to handle this thing and keep your sport going. And I hope the NFL sitting back and watching and seeing the success that I guess basketball's had kicking back off in the bubble and the lack thereof with Major League Baseball and the issues they've had, man, because it's not looking good right now. 29 positive tests, and then 2 more people on the Cardinals tested positive today. So they're shutting their games off.
It's just gonna be difficult without having, in every sport you're gonna have to have, especially with football, as much traveling that goes into football. The protocols that you're gonna need to have for player safety are absolutely insane. I mean, it should have been an omen for the MLB. First pitch, Dr. Fauci comes out there, has the worst pitch since 50 Cent. And then the game gets rained out after 5 innings. For the first game of the opening day, it just obviously was not a good look. And then everything with Miami going on right now. Honestly, I don't see MLB going the full 60. The 60-game season that they were planning on having, I don't even see them getting halfway. To be honest with you.
No, I wouldn't be surprised in the next couple of weeks if the whole thing's getting the plug pulled just based off of the way they've handled things up to this point.
And that's going to be horrible for the MLB. They're going to be losing out on a lot of money. Not so much as national-wise, but they get a lot of their money through the local TV stations, for their teams. And the local market, that gets a lot of revenue for those cities. They don't have that revenue coming in. The city is going to suffer because of it. So it's a big thing for the MLB, and it's a damn shame that, players couldn't, or players or staff or whatever, especially ones from Miami, they couldn't get their shit together. There's only one thing they ask you to do: be safe and not be stupid so that everybody can collect a paycheck. And you go out and pull something like this, I mean, you're going to get it.
I wonder how Derek Jeter feels right now.
He wants to go back to New York. That's what he wants to do. He's going, how can I get out of this $1.3 billion mistake that I put myself into? It's going to be insane. It's going to be interesting to see how they continue. I don't see them going, 30 games, let alone freaking 60 games. And, again, like we said, the NFL is definitely keeping an eye on every league that's going on right now. MLS has been doing a pretty good job in their handling of things. NBA, obviously, doing a pretty good job. We haven't heard any positive tests coming out, out of the bubble just yet. So it's going to be interesting to see. And, speaking of the NFL, let's just get into the NFL. You got players opting out left and right. And you got not only opting out, you got players testing positive. Last time I checked, at least 20 to 25 players around the league have tested positive for this thing. Have been put on, the reserve / COVID-19 list. So at that point, you're testing players before they even get into training camp. The way they're doing it, they're testing them damn near every single day that they're on the grounds. And you got players testing positive, having to go back, wait another 2 weeks before they come back to training camp. How much time lost in training camp that does for an individual player is just – and then on top of that, the players that are opting out, Kansas City Chiefs, their right guard, who's also an MD, is deciding he's going to take on the front lines out there to help fight it out there in Canada. So kudos to him. They replaced him with Kelechi Osemele, a couple of days after that. So you're going to see a lot of teams now that have either players opting out or testing positive. You're going to see a lot of teams going into that free agent market. We just saw LaShawn McCoy, get picked up by the Bucks. We're just seeing Damian Williams of the Chiefs. He opted out. So that's going to open up things for rookie Clyde Edwards. His whole last name is – why are you laughing? What is that smile? Oh, I mentioned the Bucks and you got a heart on. That's what happened?
No. You mentioned my prediction from last year.
That not so much as a prediction, more of a hope.
It wasn't a hope. I said the Bucks needs to go get Shady McCoy.
You hoped it was going to happen. You hoped it was going to happen last year. It didn't happen. And now that it did happen, you're like, oh, I predicted it. No, you did not predict 2 years from that point that Shady McCoy was going to be on the Bucks.
Bro, I said that he would be a perfect fit for our offense. Matter of fact, I'll put the clip right here. So we all can relive this shit.
Okay.
Exactly what I said when I was cleaning rat shit last year. So
insert clip here. Still don't believe you. Still don't think.
Hey, man, 2 years ago I might have wanted him. I don't know how much he has left in the tank now, but should be interesting. At least give you guys some depth.
He's a Super Bowl champion now, thanks to you guys. Yeah.
That's true.
So now he's coming with Tom Brady, who's also a Super Bowl champion. He's going to revitalize his motherfucking mindset.
What they call it, ring chasing right now.
Hey. He has a Warriors jersey on, and I know for sure he was sitting on his couch with a hard on 2 years ago talking about Kevin Durant, yeah!
What are you talking about?
Wouldn't quite compare.
NC's a Lakers fan, so we're good. We're good. The Lakers get all the credit they deserve. We're good here. But you, sir.
Me?
Yeah, you, sir.
What?
You, sir. Your team ain't shit. The team's not a real fucking dynasty. Your little fucking elf of a point guard. This motherfucker is not winning MVP no more.
2-time MVP, only unanimous MVP. Get that right.
This motherfucker shot over 1,000 season.
So
he made 403. You kind of give it to him when he does that kind of shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're
revolutionizing the game, man.
You got players that average 8 points talking about they're gonna be a Hall of Famer.
Who?
Draymond.
Defensively, you don't think he's worth it?
In this NBA? No. Why? Because this NBA isn't that tough. This NBA is soft as fuck. This NBA, Draymond Green. All right, Matt, scratch that. Run this shit back to Jordan's NBA. Draymond Green would have got punked by Charles Barkley. As much as he be talking shit.
By Chuck, huh? Dang.
Please go look at Chuck's highlights.
No,
he won an MVP. He won a league MVP.
I know.
Chuck was mean, man.
Yeah, he was
Chuck
bad.
was a fucking beast.
Can't golf for shit, but he was bad.
I agree. He can't golf.
Have you seen that swing? God damn.
That shit is terrible.
Dennis Rodman used to beat him up a little bit, but Chuck was bad.
Yeah. But to get back to the NFL, so now that we think about it, with all this test and everything that they've been looking at the NBA, obviously they've been looking at the MLB, MLS, all these different sports. What is it that the NFL is going to need to do to ensure absolute safety? Because you got to remember, the amount of players that are on an NFL team are 2 to 3 times bigger than any other sport. So they're having 53. I think they even bumped the 53 number to what, almost 60 this year?
Yeah, so they actually
57. 57 with a COVID injured reserve list now.
They're seeing now that, at least in the MLB perspective, when it comes to traveling to different areas to play the game, they're seeing now that, let's be real, everyone's human. Nobody's perfect. There's going to be temptations. People have been pretty much locked down in COVID, since March, for a long period of time. People want to go out. People want to have fun, do their thing. How do you limit that to the point where it's not going to be detrimental? Because we're talking 16 plus weeks in an NFL season that you have to do to get through a pandemic. How do you go 16 plus weeks, adding the playoffs and the Super Bowl? How do you go that long without somebody testing positive with all this travel?
It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be really tough. I think if they learned anything from baseball, it's that they need to be even more strict than even the rules baseball was implementing. I mean, luckily, we're talking about billion-dollar franchises with their own private jets. I'm sure suites, hotels, they can probably create their own versions of a mini bubble in.
Yeah.
But it's keep all 60 players on every team, in check and making sure that they're abiding by those laws. And you start talking about 4 or 5 months of that kind of living lifestyle, man, it's going to be really tough on those guys.
Yeah, it's literally – that was exactly what I was going to say. Their own version of a bubble. I mean, I've said that before when you asked that before. So it's occupy an entire hotel. I just said it like that because whole hotel would not come out for shit. But yeah, just occupy an entire hotel.
They're just completely cut off, man.
You know what
no
I
matter
mean?
what city you're going into. Talking no exchanges with any of the hotel staff, probably giving people keys. I mean, they're going to have to take some extreme measures to not see the type of fallback and cases that the MLB is, man. You're talking a third of the amount of players on a baseball team. It's going to be interesting, man. If it was up to me, I would really hope they would just opt to do the bubble.
Yeah, I was just gonna say pick one or two stadiums. I was thinking if you're gonna, I guess if you're gonna travel, you limit as much of the travel as you can, so then you can have most of the games. You pick 2 stadiums on the West Coast, pick 2 stadiums on the East Coast. That way, there's only literally 4 places that you go to play your game. Whatever team is on the East Coast, home team, they get the home game there on the East Coast, obviously vice versa for here on the West Coast. That's what I was thinking about. If you're going to make it like a bubble, you have the designated hotels that the way they're going to look at it, if they're going to do it that way, LA's stadium is going to be a choice.
Yeah.
Because it's a brand new stadium. They might even do Las Vegas.
I mean, the only problem with that, and the only problem that I can see them probably talking about is if they were going to designate that low amount of or only a few stadiums, man, just how do you make that work on Sunday? How many teams play in the same stadium on the same field in that day? How bad does the turf get after one day? Are you starting to get into player safety and that kind of thing, man? I mean, it's going to be difficult. I think if they were going to do something like that, they'd probably have to chop it maybe in half, and instead of playing at all 32 stadiums, maybe chop it down to 16, have, kind of areas depending on state demographic and how many teams you have in there. But it's going to be hard, man. I'm glad I'm not the one trying to coordinate all that.
So here's my suggestion. All right, so based on state laws, just say 2 states on the East Coast, Georgia and Florida.
Mm-hmm.
You have to utilize these college stadiums because no one's playing on them right now.
Yeah.
So you can take those states. You got UGA, Georgia State, Georgia Southern. You got help me, the fucking Hornets.
That's actually a problem though, because college football as of right now is
September 26th. Yeah.
ACC said their 10-game schedule. The SEC released their 10-game.
Yeah, they're playing full
10-week
10
schedule.
game. Yeah.
You know, so college football, at least for right now, if not other college athletics, that's at least scheduled
To move
to
Yeah,
go.
but they play on Saturdays. And the thing is, you can have that night crew or that fucking or the field crew just come early as fuck. You know what I mean? On Sunday, get everything together so while the field's setting, or do it late as fuck at night so the field can set.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got to pay that money. So if you're utilizing those college stadiums,
Yeah.
you can utilize those stadiums because Georgia got a lot of fucking schools, and so does Florida. Even though Florida's
the only problem is the only
fucking,
problem with that would be that, you know, they're obviously still there's a lot of like cross contamination stuff that might be happening there too. I mean, you're talking having to do like full sweeps of locker rooms and shit before pros get there. And, you know, hundreds of people going through a building in one day turnaround to get going on Sundays. It's tough, man. I mean, I hope it works out. I hope the travel works. And if they're planning on doing things like normal, man, it's going to be interesting to see how quickly people start catching it and how they deal with it.
I mean, it definitely can be done. You just gotta go past normal work hours. Like whatever you deem to be normal work hours, you got to utilize 24 hours.
I feel like a lot of the money that they may get from TV revenue or whatever revenue is going to get, all that money is going to go right back into sanitation to getting all the, to get these places to.
I agree. I agree, but I feel like they'll work away. I mean, they'll work around that, like find a way to get some kind of income, like overcharging the fuck out of commercials. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a way around that to find some kind of money. But at the same time, I do agree with you. I don't want to make it seem like I disagree. I agree with you because that sanitation price tag's gonna be fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah.
It's just, again, it's a wild time. It's one of those times right now that we look at it with a lot of optimism. Obviously, we all want football back. Football's a mainstay in this country. So everybody wants football back. Yeah, people are happy with the NBA. People are happy with sports in general being back on. But the NFL is really the big dog in this country that everyone is looking to, going, what are you guys going to do? What are you going to take from the NBA, from the MLB, from the MLS, from all these other sports? What are you going to take from learning from what they're doing and implement that into what you're doing? Because you're looking at 57-man roster. You're looking at 16 to 20 extra players on the practice squad, the entire coaching staff.
100 people, at a time, easy.
For each team.
For each team, yeah.
So it's like trainers, athletes.
That's not including referees, camera crews. I mean,
there's so much. I mean, with camera crews, I think it'll be. I don't think it'll be as bad with camera crews. I mean, they're all by themselves off in a corner anyway, filming.
I mean, like the whole crew, like chain gangs, sound guys, like that whole thing, man, is going to be interesting to see.
True.
And then when it's hard because football is also, obviously we know it's a contact sport. It's a very violent sport. Sweat's flying off of people all the time. You're getting into scrums at the bottom of a pile because of a fumble. It just, there's so many things that you have to take into account to go into this season, because Roger Goodell right now is like asshole type. He wants to make sure that, obviously he doesn't want a repeat of what happened in the MLB. He doesn't want a team, going off doing something stupid. He wants to make sure that every single person understands that one bad move and the season's gone. One bad mistake, one player going out and thinking, maybe a bench player or something like that who doesn't really get a whole lot of playing time, whatever, decides to go out and he's still putting his teammates and stuff like that at risk. One small thing like that can just ruin everything. So it's just, again,
fragile situation.
Absolutely. We definitely hold our breath We're optimistic about it. We want football back. But I mean, I guess in more positive news, at least for one fucking NFC team, Jamal Adams is a Seahawk, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we got to deal with that for 2 times a week, Nelson. For the next, I don't know, however many years if they want to sign him. Oh, I don't even want to see that smile coming off of your face, Kay. You were not too long ago saying Jamal Adams wasn't that good of a safety.
Oh, I know that shit hurts your feelings. The fact that he went there. I still don't think he's that good of a safety, but I do think this reiterates my point of the Seahawks are going to beat y'all. Yes, I'm so happy that shit happens. And if AB gets signed by the Seahawks, oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I mean, speaking of AB, the dude retires, and 4 days later, Roger Goodell says, oh, yeah, he's hit with an 8-game suspension. AB is going, yeah, I'm going to take this suspension. I hope a team can sign me. Are you going to retire? This is like the 4th time he's retired from the game. And now that there's a little bit of hope that he's going to come back to play football, he comes – it's like Brett Favre.
I don't see any team touching him, man.
Like Brett Favre 2.0.
Not until he can show that he can stay out of trouble and spend these next 8 weeks or whatever of his suspension.
I think the only
he has to be on the roster. He has to be on the roster before that suspension.
The only way he makes a roster
exactly
is he gets sick.
You serious?
I think so.
All right, I get his sentiment, but you are harsh, Josh.
Bro, teams don't want to deal with that, especially right now. Yeah. Especially right now. Nobody wants somebody who
a distraction,
could be a loose cannon.
Yeah.
Somebody who could be I'm not
toxic.
Saying he will, but I'm saying with his history, there's the possibility of that happening. During these times, no team's going to want that unless they're desperate to get a player to replace somebody who, got sick, got the virus or whatever and can't play for the rest of the season or for the next 2 weeks, however long they're going to do it. Nobody's going to want to deal. If we're talking non-pandemic, regular, season fans, everything else like that, sure, somebody would pick him up, hold him off for the 8 weeks, and you have him for the back end of the season for a possible playoff push if you're the right team. That I can see. But in these times with so much uncertainty, we don't even know if the NFL is going to be going after week 8. That's how much uncertainty is in the league right now. So it's just, I don't see anybody taking that chance. Honestly, I don't.
I see 2 teams only out of the 32. I only see 2 teams, only 2, and they're in 2 different sides of on the planet.
Let me guess. Tampa and who?
No, hell no. Bruce Arians and John Lynch already said they're not fuck with AB. So I'm all right. I gave up hope on AB. Everybody thinks I really want him like that. Like, I have faith in Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Like, I seriously do. I would like AB to play with Tom Brady because they have rapport, but the only 2 teams I feel like that AB has a chance, the Seahawks, because Pete Carroll likes those type of players, likes players that do questionable shit, but is nice as fuck on the field, a.k.a. Percy Harvin. And then the fucking Ravens. And the Ravens, because him and Lamar is like this now.
Lamar's already trying to lobby to get him.
That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
I don't see Harbaugh pulling the trigger though, man. The guy's just you'll sign him, he'll be quiet for 2 months. He'll get out there on a Sunday and then he'll tweak the locker room speech after the game, start talking shit about all his teammates, and he'll be right back to
Mr. Big.
Not that team.
Blonde mustache is gonna come out.
He has a bunch of like-minded players on that team. You got Marcus Peters on the Ravens. You forgot about that.
Yeah, you think Marcus Peters gonna deal with this shit? That dude's from
hell no.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying to you. Like-minded players. He won't get into it with fucking Marcus Peters. Him and Marcus Peters would be best friends.
Well, underestimate that guy's thinking, bro.
Bro, I'm
clearly he lacks.
I kind of got an idea. Being from the same state, so I kind of, but not really. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I really think I don't even think it's a matter of players getting along, because I'm sure there's a bunch of players in the league that get along with AB.
I like them, sure.
Of course they like him. It's just a matter of the organization taking a chance on that. I don't see it during a pandemic happening. I just don't. Whether he faces the 8-game suspension or not,
Man,
nobody wants that problem right now.
No one's disputing the talent, man. He's got it. The guy's one of the greatest receivers when he's on the field I've ever seen play football. It's amazing the stuff that guy does, man. But it's keeping him on the field. It's keeping him on the field and keeping him from, destroying the locker room on the inside, man.
So here's the thing. If Big Ben was a fucking linebacker, that locker room wouldn't be destroyed at all.
So you're blaming Big Ben for all this?
No, I'm telling you what the source of the problem was for AB. The source of the problem for AB was Ben Roethlisberger. The fact that
the Steelers did a good damn job kind of keeping the lid on that guy for as long as they did, man. It wasn't until he left that everyone's seen how much of a fucking head case that guy was.
Nah, bro. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. It's like you got to break down every situation. So
Roethlisberger did some shady shit.
Sure.
Throwing him underneath the bus and everything else like that.
Fuck all that. Ben Roethlisberger is a rapist, fam. He is a rapist.
Yeah. Alleged, yep, for sure.
Fuck alleged. He paid her off. He is guilty. He's guilty. So that's first. Ben Roethlisberger is a rapist. So you can't slander somebody that had to pay somebody off for essentially doing the same thing Bill Burr did.
Damn. Bill Burr.
Yeah, Bill Burr pulled his dick out. Like, didn't AB do the same thing with the trainer girl? And then he paid her?
Multiple trainer girls.
Thanks.
Same difference.
Ladies, yeah.
But at the same time though, like I'm not gonna say head case for one. John Gruden rubbed me the wrong way too, but it was Mike Mayock?
Yeah.
That really he spazzed on, and they damn near the same fucking person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're also both highly respected members in the football community, man.
Yeah, John Gruden
and they're not the kind of people that are going to put up with his shit either. At the same time, man. So was that the problem?
Yeah, well, Mike Mayock was an analyst. He was a scout. He's got the credentials to be a GM.
Oh yeah,
he really does.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he doesn't. He's not worth his position. My thing is, if you got somebody, all right, scratch that. AB has a problem with people trying to carry themselves like they're better than everybody else. That was his problem with Big Ben. That's his problem with Mike Mayock. Honestly, he didn't really say shit until he went at Robert Kraft, because Robert Kraft like damn near like turned his back on him. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not disagreeing that AB is tripping sometimes. But at the same time, if you look at it from a perspective like, oh, this person is more respected and bad rap for him. So we're gonna sit here and just give him shit. It's not the same as T.O. T.O. has never had a situation on the field, never had a situation outside of the field. No, he fought somebody in the locker room. He fought Donovan McNabb in the locker room and the D lineman or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I was in the locker room. But he's never had a problem on the field. He's never had a problem off the field.
The field. That's right. He was taunting the Dallas Cowboys in the middle of the Star. Yeah.
On the field, sure. On the field antics, the guy was a diva, man. I mean, he was a showman. He did what he did, but off the field issues, he's not even close to the stuff Antonio Brown's done.
It's entertainment. Like, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
Like, to be honest with you. Yeah. So, I mean, it's entertainment. So, if that's your team, like, think about it. 49ers playing, right? Because that's when he did it. He was on the Niners. Mm-hmm. At the same time, him doing that on the Niners, I bet money everybody at that time was probably, not everybody, but like a good majority of the Niner fans were like, yeah, because y'all hate the Cowboys. Y'all hate the fucking boys.
I'm going to be real with you. I thought wholeheartedly, and I still do, the talent that dude had, bar none, he's a Hall of Famer. He really is a Hall of Famer. I never agreed with the on-field antics, give me the ball all the damn time, the diva mode shit that he would do the whole time. I know it was cancerous at that time, it was cancerous to the locker room. no quarterbacks wanted to play with him because the only thing they would hear on the fucking sideline was give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. If T.O. had it his way, every single pass play would go to him. You know, it just players didn't want to deal with that. Now, you can't deny the man's greatness. I mean, he played the Super Bowl with a broken leg. Who the fuck does that? You know, only like superhuman people do shit like that. The guy was a hell of an athlete. Even at his age now, he's still a hell of an athlete. But
you know, regardless of all the go ahead.
All right, so one question, Mr. Tight End. You were in the wide receiver groups every fucking time you did anything.
Right.
Receivers aren't asking for the ball every fucking play? All right, then we're done with that fucking point. We're done with that.
It honestly depends on who it is. I've had teammates who, yes, hey, get me the ball. They want their stats and everything. But I've also had teammates who, hey, betterment of the team as long as we fucking win. And usually it was the guys who were betterment of the team that did more. Usually.
And it's the way you go about it too, man. I mean,
because it especially
one thing to talk about it in the huddle. It's one thing to talk about it amongst your teammates.
Yeah.
But not to the media and that kind of thing. And that's where T.O. kind of got his rap. But I mean, you're comparing fucking apples to oranges if you ask me. I mean, AB's on a whole nother level. That guy's talking shit about owners. He's changing his mind every 2 damn seconds, like he's got bipolar disorder about who's good, who's bad, if he's playing, if he's not. I mean, the guy's unstable. That's what it looks like, man. And if I was running a franchise, I couldn't bring myself to sign him.
Honestly, I agree with you on the perception aspect, but again, some things we probably we're not disclosed to.
Oh,
like text messages.
Sure.
Like
I get it.
But so if you think
what
about
we do have access to, it looks bad.
But that's probably what's leading him to do all of this shit. So it's like, if you think about it, if we had access to all of the shit that players have access to, some of these motherfuckers won't look crazy. Like, to be very honest with you, you're making, like, it's people's lives. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, you're dealing with people's lives. So that's the only reason why I'm not exonerating him at any means, because he has done shit like fight a fucking mover. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't agree with that shit. Like, I don't agree with some of the things he's done. I completely stand with y'all on that perspective. But some of that shit that they say on this man, I can't go for that. Like, because I just personally don't see him jeopardize himself like that.
My whole judgment of him is basing on, like, not what other reporters are gonna spin or anything like that. I'm looking at his own actions, what he says, like his tweets, everything that he comes out with. That's all on him. That's not on everybody else. So anything that I see that I base on AB is what he has personally done and or said. And from my perspective, like NC said, right, if I'm an owner of a franchise or a head coach and stuff like that, in these times, I don't want that problem. We can't afford that problem. You know, because then you go spending money on this guy that might not even pan out.
Like, when he was with the Raiders and all this stuff happened, and it came down that, like, final weekend, we have to all become buddies. We'll talk it through. Kumbaya. You stay quiet for 1 weekend. You get paid $25 million. That dude, the same night that they supposedly reconciled everything, like, called up Gruden talking shit, recorded the conversation, and then leaked it? I mean, bro, the guy hasn't done himself any favors. I get what you're saying. Sure, media perception, they probably spin things a certain way, paint people in a certain light. But at the end of the day, you got to help yourself too, man. And he has not done himself any favors, bro.
I agree. I agree. Because, again, I agree. Sometimes he needs to fucking chill.
Yeah.
That is one time. But again, we're not privy to the situations that happened prior to that phone call with Gruden.
Yeah.
He might have got a text message from Mike Mayock just like saying some fucking shit where Mike Mayock not thinking nothing of it. But again,
well, then don't you think if Mike Mayock would have actually sent that or done some shit to AB, he
would have leaked it.
He would have leaked that too instead of just Gruden?
But again, he called Gruden. He was able to record that conversation because he was in control of that situation. But if Mike Mayock called him, how would you have control of that situation?
So then he may not have, if it was a voicemail or, he called them or whatever, he may not have been able to record that, but he could have mentioned that, hey, this is the reason why I did this.
Yeah.
But again,
I did this. I recorded this phone call with John Gruden because Mike Mayock was talking, a bunch of shit that he was doing that. He would have said something like that, or he should have said something like that. If he really wanted to put his full-on story out there, to make himself look like, it's not his fault, like he's legitimate in his reasons for doing this, then he should have said something like that if something like that did go down. The way he handled it, the whole helmet thing, I'm not going to play unless I get my old style helmet, even though it's, 10 years past the regulation stop. Just a whole bunch of unnecessary shit that did not need to happen. That it's just, I mean, why do you have to literally make that big of a deal for a fucking helmet?
Because it's about his comfortability. Because the guy had a fucking crazy ass concussion. Do you remember him getting fucked up?
Yeah, with that style of helmet, with an unsafe helmet, that's the regulations. That's the safety regulations.
But I feel like he was comfortable with that helmet regardless.
Whether you're comfortable or not, you have to go with the safety standards that the NFL past the 10-year helmet. Sorry,
he should have switched. I agree too with that point. That's why I said in some situations, I am right with y'all. The helmet shit, I'm just only saying that's probably what he was thinking. I don't agree with that shit. I was
switching. So to bring the conversation to a close, man, I mean, I guess what it really comes down to, Kay, you think he deserves another chance?
Yes, I do. Honestly,
and you would want your team to sign him?
If they didn't say fucking, oh, we're not getting him and shit like that, based on who we have on our team, yes. I feel like it'll be fine. Why? Because we got Brady. He know, like in his mind, regardless of whatever the fuck it is, he understand who Tom Brady is. You get what I'm saying? And he was like, I fucked up in fucking New England, and I didn't get the chance to play with him no more than one game. Mm-hmm. Only got a few passes and still scored. I feel like this chance with him and me hanging out with somebody like Mike Evans or hanging out, you know what I'm saying, with those type of players, he'll probably chill. Good. But again, I don't think my team would be a better fit for him. I think it'll be the Ravens or the Seahawks. I don't think the Seahawks would be like under control situation. I feel like he's just further away from Florida in that situation. But I feel like if the Ravens, it's more about Florida ties with Lamar, because Lamar grew up with Kodak Black, fucking ignorant nigga ties with Marcus Peters and fucking Mark Ingram. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like he'll be more focused there with those people because he won't feel like I'm alone. You know what I'm saying? Because
I think the biggest issue most people are having about it right now is where Patrick Mahomes is at, himself included.
Okay.
Being at number 4 and having 2 quarterbacks ahead of him coming off of the Super Bowl and everything he just accomplished. Would you take Lamar or Russell Wilson over Patrick Mahomes?
Fuck no.
Lamar, yes. Russell, no. Fuck no. Russell, fuck no. I'll switch Pat Mahomes and Russell in a second. Like, it wouldn't even take me a whole second.
I mean, he's a great quarterback.
In a second.
I get it.
Fuck no. The fact that we're talking about the NFL. I apologize. You're crap.
No worries.
But obviously, we got back in what NFL Top 100 we're talking about right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
The fact that they put, I mean, if you're gonna have Lamar Jackson at number one, okay, dude's MVP, get it, number one guy. No, exactly. At number two, Russell Wilson at number two. Just get off the dick already, bro. That's just.
I mean, he's great, man. Don't get me wrong. He's great. He's a really good quarterback.
He's not better than Mahomes. He's not.
But he's not better than Mahomes, man. No one is right now.
He's just not. It's so the fact that they had that baffled me, to be completely.
And then not even to throw a defensive player ahead of him too. I mean, don't get me wrong. Aaron Donald, dominant force, great player, most dominant player. I mean, him and JJ ruled the last 10 years, being just the most dominant player on the field on defense. But I mean, come on, man, the most important player on the field is the QB.
The $500 million man is the number one player in the league.
Crazy, man. But hey, shout out to our boy Kittle, highest rated tight end on the top 100, whatever they said.
Still think it should be top 5, but
no, he does not deserve to be in the top 5.
I'm gonna keep.
Perfectly fine at 7.
I
look at who's ahead of him. And I'm not mad. Honestly, I'm not mad. You got Christian McCaffrey, bro. Who fucking
Christian McCaffrey should have been top 5.
Well, he's number 6. Michael Thomas. That's probably the only issue I'd have. I'd probably drop Thomas to 7 and then move Kittle and McCaffrey up just as far as the type of players they are. I mean, Michael Thomas's numbers kind of speak for themselves. But then you got Mahomes, Wilson, Jackson. I mean, I wouldn't put him ahead of those guys as far as what
you got. He's the top-rated player in Pro Football Focus.
Oh my
God.
He's great.
I mean, the highest rated player, the number one player in the league when it comes to Pro Football Focus. Number 7, the players didn't choose this. The players didn't. If the players chose this, bro, Mahomes would have been top 2. You know, it would have been an actually different list, to be honest with you. Because some of the players that I saw coming out the 100 in the certain spots that they came in at, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
You got to think about it like this, though. Like, as a player, think about it as a player's perspective, right? Not a Niner fan, right? You got to take your Niner hat off right now. Take it off really quick. Yeah, I'm talking to him now because he goes too far, man. He won't let go of Texas, Oklahoma for shit. Like
that's blood. Like, you can't get rid of that.
I know, so that's what I'm saying. Take your Niner hat off for 2 seconds and think about it like this. Look at the offense outside of those quarterbacks. Who has the better offense? No. I'm saying out of Pat Mahomes and Russell.
And Russell? Mahomes.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's why players were saying Russell Wilson is that fucking good because look how far he took that roster when he doesn't have a Tyreek Hill. He doesn't have he just has Shady McCoy.
I mean, I'd have to.
You have Lockett and DK Metcalf.
Yeah, but Lockett doesn't run a 4-2. Like, come on. Lockett has very good hands, bro. DK Metcalf is big and has great hands. But Pat Mahomes,
a 4-3.
It's fucking
DK.
They may not run 4-2s, but you got 2 guys that can run 4-3, 4-4. You got Metcalf who's 6 foot freaking 4, 220 pounds running a 4-3.
Chris Carson's not a scrub running back either, man. He's a good running back.
That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying as in comparison. So like right now, let's just go like this. Travis Kelce.
You said compared to the Ravens?
So basically the Chiefs offense minus Pat and the Seahawks offense minus
okay, you're talking Chiefs. Okay. I thought you said Jackson.
No. So Pat. Pat's offense. So so I'm saying, look, Travis Kelce is better than all of the Seahawks receivers. He's better than all of them.
He's a great tight end. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? He's better than their whole fucking offense. So that's one player, and then we haven't even got to Tyreek Hill that's running the 4-2. You get what I'm saying? So Pat Mahomes is nice, yes, but Pat Mahomes is able to fucking let his hair down, essentially, because he has players that he can trust. He has players that knows once I get them the ball, he's gonna fucking do something with it.
Perfect surrounding cast for his skill level and talent. Everything he does well.
So
I get it.
To get to your question, as a player, how would I look at if I'm looking at George Kittle as a player, you're talking about the best run blocking tight end in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He may not be, better pass catching or whatever. I would still argue that he's better than Kelsey overall. I think he's a better tight end. The way Kittle dominates on the field without even catching a pass, we're talking the run block game, and even in the pass blocking game, when they ask him to pass block, he's doing really well. Without Kittle on the field, the 49ers offense, let's be real, it's not the same.
It's lackluster, that guy. We run the offense through guys like him and, Q-Check, who can do it all.
He is the offense. He makes the running game that much, or especially the stretch running game that the 49ers like to run, the zone running style with George Kittle on the outside just sealing the edge damn near every single time. You can't compare that. This is a guy that he's literally the MVP of that offense. Without Kittle, and honestly, they're going to have to pay that man. They're going to have to pay that. If they don't pay I am going to be so pissed off. I'm going to be more pissed off than when Jim Harbaugh left the team. Like, I'm going to be more pissed off than anything at that point, because Kittle is, we talk about the once-in-a-generation style players. He is that player. He's that guy at the tight end position who's going to help even further revolutionize the game. He's going to open up the payday book for guys like Travis Kelce, for guys like Zach Ertz, Mark Andrews. When they come up, tight ends that are coming up in this league who are going to get paid bank because George Kittle is that type of player.
Yeah.
So that's why
he's going to get paid, man.
If you look at it player's perspective, honestly, that's why I think you could take 49er fan bias or whatever out of it. He's top 5 player in the entire league, whether he's voted on by the players or not. If I'm looking at it from, overall what he means to that team, you can't compare it to really anybody else.
Christian McCaffrey. That's easy.
I mean, that's why I said McCaffrey should be in the top 5 too.
Yeah, but
honestly,
and you can also throw in Thomas. You gotta have to throw in Mike Thomas, because Drew Brees is throwing, like, say if you do 10 passes, right? 10 passes in a drive. The drive gets long enough to get 10 passes.
Yeah.
Out of those 10, Thomas is targeted at least 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude was leading the league in targets by a landslide last year.
That's what I'm saying. So my point is, both of those players deserve to be ahead of him based off of – I get what you're saying. I completely get what you're saying. And I agree with you. He deserves to get paid. He is, again, I like Kelsey. I'll take Kelsey over Kittle, but I do believe Kelsey's blocking pushes him ahead of Kelsey. So I agree with you. So it's not like I'm disputing that. I never once said he doesn't deserve to be in the top 10. I've never once said that, but I did say he does not deserve to be in the top 5. The list is literally perfect. But again, like NC said, if he flopped with Michael Thomas, I wouldn't be mad at that shit either.
Yeah, I think it'd be perfectly fine. I think all those guys are deserving that are ahead of him. I didn't have issues with it. Just the pure numbers that they put up last year. You guys got to remember, it's top 100 players of 2020.
Yeah.
And we're not talking all time. We're not talking full body of work. We're not talking who's got the most talent. It's of 2020.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Tom Brady would still be at the damn top of the list if we're putting legacy and everything there,
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at it, man. I think Michael Thomas had a hell of a record-breaking year. McCaffrey going over 1,000 receiving, 1,000 rushing, breaking the fantasy football record.
Third
the way
player
he
to
did,
do it.
man. It was deserving for 2020, man. I don't have any issues with it.
Third player to go to 1,000 for 1,000. Only 2 other players have done that: Marshall Faulk and Roger Craig.
Yeah.
2 other guys. That's it that have done
company.
that. Yeah, definitely good company. But guys like that, I definitely know they're putting up stuff to pack on the muscle, to get on every sort of diet or whatever that they can possibly do. But one thing that I know some of these players could use to get a little bit better would be from PhoenixFit.com. They go get that victory box. You go $30 a month, $120 plus value. You get the rebalanced screens, the ebook of your choice, bonus products like gear, etc. 25% off and free shipping site-wide. Access to the daily workouts. Use the promo code Alpha Phoenix. That's Alpha FNX over at checkout. Get 15% off your order. Go to phoenixfit.com, FNXfit.com. Go check out the mystery box or the victory box. Go check out all the items and everything that they have there. They got really good stuff. Now, we've come to the point in the show, a segment that we had a couple of episodes back. We're finally bringing it back because, you know what? We thought it was fun having Kountry K just go on and have himself a nice little rant session on whoever it is that he wants to talk about. Lately, it's been Jameis Winston. We can go back every single fucking episode, and Jameis Winston is mentioned by Kountry K at least once, if not more, in every single one of them. So it's
Responded to. Didn't mention I responded to. Let's clarify that.
Responded to question. Yeah. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The segment you all come for comic relief. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Country roast of Kountry K. Take it away, K.
All right. So, people. I love this part of the show simply because I get to talk about some of you dumb fucks that do dumb shit that I personally don't agree with. And before, I had to come by the light. So, I want my face to be shown on the...
Problem is, it's not.
Camera. All right, there it is.
There you go.
I'm good with cameras, and anyway. All right. So first, before I start anything, I want to shout out 3 Company. It's my friend's company I grew up with in Florida. Please check them out. 3 Clothing. I'll put on some fucking shit for them. All right. So now to the shit. I want to start off by saying thank you, Lou Williams. That's why I didn't respond to your comment earlier. And this shit, thank you. Thank you for giving me a topic because you wanted to get some wings and I needed a topic. We helped each other hand in hand because you are dumb, sir. You dumb as fuck, sir. You dumb as a motherfucker, sir. Personally, I don't understand how you didn't learn from these fucking rappers and celebrities and just have people be like, hey, don't post no pictures, don't post no pictures, don't post no pictures. The kid that has one of the hottest songs in the top 100 right now took a picture and put your dumb ass on the fucking thing. What is wrong with you, Lou? You posed and you knew what time it was. You should have told, hey, don't post a picture, right? Don't post a picture. Do it after the NBA season or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you got to sit fucking games out because if the fucking Clippers had you last night, you could potentially won. But they didn't because you wanted some wings and some titties in your face. What are you doing? What are you doing? Speaking on the South and answering your question, Josh, from the earlier statement, yes, the wings are that fucking good. They're that fucking good. Strip club food in the South is way better than regular restaurants. I promise you that. That's one thing I can promise you. I can promise you strip club food is better than everything else. Why? Because all of the cooks that don't make it at regular restaurants that restaurants discriminate against, they get hired at the strip club. And 9 times out of 10, they cook better than everybody the fuck else. And they're able to make their own fucking goddamn versions of recipes because they're trying to be chefs. So, yes, that's what the fuck happens. Strip club fucking goddamn got good food. So, Lou, I understand. And you have your own wings at Magic City. So, I understand. But what I don't understand is why did you let that dumb motherfucker post you? That was dumb. Like, oh, I'm sorry. That was fucking special. That was fucking special needs, sir. That was fucking goddamn slow. What are you doing? And you had the NBA fucking face mask on. You couldn't go to the fucking goddamn liquor store like James Harden did and go get the fucking goddamn accidentally get a fucking blue fucking goddamn shit on your shit. I can't even get the shit out right now. I'm sorry, officers, but at the same time, you dumb as fuck. Fuck, you dumb. Oh, thank you, though. It's a mixed bag. I did that whole thing without mentioning that sorry motherfucking quarterback that's in New Orleans now because Josh brought him up. Again, responding to. Leave me fucking alone about the dude, man. I won't say nothing no more. I'm still in time. So, look, just leave it the fuck alone. As a matter of fact, with this last minute, I don't give a fuck. Let's make it 23 episodes straight. This motherfucker's trash, bro. This motherfucker is garbage.
Oh, Lou Will.
I don't understand how he gets a contract. I'm still in time. I got like a whole fucking minute left. This motherfucker here, man. Like, I don't understand how he fucking goddamn gets signed. Like, how do you get signed? Then you take the contract and no one is face the fucking ball. I want to get some Hill jersey tomorrow. I already got my Brady jersey and my motherfucking Mike Evans and Levante Adams on the way. All three of those coming because I'm birthday on Monday. Ooh. Anyway, yeah, I'm getting to take some Hill jersey. I don't like the Aints. I don't like them at all. I don't like the Aints beyond anything in the world. I promise you, I hate them. I hate them just as much as fucking I hate your Niners. I'm sorry. I hate your Niners. And it ain't even the team. Because I respect the players that y'all have in the shit. It's y'all fans that's fuck. I hate y'all fans. I hate y'all fans just as much as I hate the Cowboys fans. I hate them motherfuckers too. The Cowboys swear they going to the playoffs and them niggas be sorry as fuck. Trash. They be booty. And they ain't gonna make the playoffs again this year because they fucking disrespected Dak. And Dak played his heart out last year and they still ain't make the fucking playoffs. So I'm done. Fuck this.
Ladies and gentlemen, you see why we love having this segment back on. We're hoping it's going to be a mainstay. That was Country Rose with Kountry K. And to get into it, I'm glad it's back. I'm glad it's back, honestly. That's something that I actually love watching you go off on people. It is one of the best. Let's make it 20.
It looked like it felt good, man, just to get that off your chest right there. I'm a little
it did feel a little bit. I feel.
Got that weight off your chest. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the final part of the episode where we are now implementing. It's that time. It's that time of the year where fantasy football starts to get relevant around this time. So it's time for the fantasy football segment you've all been waiting for and need to hear. It's the ins and outs with NC. We'll pull outwork. What is it? Where you'll outwork the competition. Respect all, fear none. This is coming fantasy football season. We're coming up with one of the guys who is a two-time champion in the Goat House League we are currently in. I am also a two-time champion in that league. Well, there's only one other guy who's a two-time. Actually, I think there's literally only been 3 champions in our league's history, and that's NC, myself, and another guy that we won't mention because, he –
not worth the mention.
Not worth it. If you're watching this, you fucking know who you are. Kiss my ass. Now, NC, fantasy football, man. When we're coming into the season, what's the overall draft strategy this year that people should be looking forward to?
Well, thanks for that introduction, Josh. Appreciate it. I think when we start hitting this time of year, August, September, you start picking up on a lot of different fads. Seems like there's something new every year as far as fantasy draft strategy. From people going RB to receiver to the zero running back strategy, man. It seems like it's something new every year. I'm here to tell you that even though the league's gone towards a pass-happy league, even though everyone's running PPR now, the most important thing in fantasy still remains the same. It's running backs, and it's drafting running backs early and often. Just throw some numbers at you guys. On average, the top 10 fantasy wide receivers, apples to apples, to the top 10 fantasy running backs, average half the amount of touches that they do. You actually can compare over the last 10 years, the RB20, so the 20th ranked running back over the last 10 years has outscored the number 10 fantasy wide receiver the last 10 years running. Yeah, everyone wants their flashy guy. Everyone wants to get Julio Jones, D-Hop, all those guys at the end of the first round, man. But if you have the opportunity, you have to grab your RB1. It's the key to getting to any fantasy football championship. Obviously, take what the draft gives you as you go along. I'm not telling you to pass up on those guys if given the opportunity early in the second round. Receivers obviously have their place, but just overall, running backs are more consistent on a yearly basis, and the numbers back it up. So draft early and often as far as RBs go.
You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Draft strategy. Grab those running backs quick. They're not at a premium like wide receivers are.
Now that's just not there this year, man. It's different. You still got some pretty viable guys there in the middle to late rounds as far as wide receivers go. After the outside top 10 running backs, man, it's a pretty steep drop off. So the opportunity presents itself. Grab them early and often.
There you go. So now we go into this season. We go into, people's overall draft strategy. Obviously you want to go running backs early, especially if you're a PPR league, running backs, especially nowadays, are getting a lot of touches in the passing game.
Right, guys.
Running backs are a big thing. Perfect. So out of that draft strategy, who would you say has the chance to make the biggest leaps from last year to this year? Who will be the blow-up players this season in 2020?
Well, man, I smiled a little bit when you guys mentioned him earlier. I'm sure a lot of people have been hearing the name this week. I'm talking about the hand-picked first-round pick from the Kansas City Chiefs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You're talking about a guy here who Patrick Mahomes literally picked himself with the 32nd pick in the draft. You're talking about a guy coming out of the SEC that have 1,400 yards rushing, over 55 catches to lead all SEC running backs, about 500 yards receiving, and look at this, Damian Williams just opted out for the entire season. So he's basically the undisputed lead back on that team. You got guys that haven't really established themselves in Darwin Thompson and I think Darrell Williams behind him that to be frank, just aren't even close to this guy's level, man. He's a dual threat back and one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL. This one's a slam dunk for me. Average ADP for this guy right now is middle of the second round. With all the events that just happened this week, you're going to start seeing a lot of guys start reaching for him in the first and look for him to give you some heavy returns if you do invest that pick early.
Oh, there you go. Yep. That's definitely a name that, especially in the mock drafts that I've been looking at, it's a name that's just been climbing and climbing in the average picks. Guys making, in 12, 14 player leagues. He's, like you said, people are reaching, people are taking him late, first round, even some mock drafts that I've been a part of, people have taken him as early as mid first round. So when you're on a team like the Chiefs, I mean, you saw what Damian was,
the limit,
last year. So the potential for this guy is obviously something that's, through the roof, especially when you're talking fantasy. So there you go. There's blow-up player. So now the final question, and it's always the question that everybody wants to hear. Everybody knows who the top guys are. Everybody knows who the top first, second, third rounders, even fourth, fifth round guys going in. But the question that people want to know the very most to get the biggest edge, especially in the late round drafts, who are we looking at as the biggest sleepers of 2020?
So I've actually got two of them for you here, Josh. The first, man, and this is a running back that I think is going to be on a lot of people's radars, especially towards the late rounds. But just given the production he had over the second half of the year, I wouldn't be surprised if people reach for him in the middle rounds. I'm talking about Cleveland running back Kareem Hunt. You're talking about a guy that got suspended for half the year, played I think 8 games over the second half of the season, and just really brought a just different element to that Cleveland offense, catching the ball out of the backfield. I mean, over the last 8 games, he averaged over 4.2 yards a carry and actually averaged 8 catches a game coming out of the backfield. He's currently being drafted as the running back 26. Obviously, you got Nick Chubb in that backfield, but I expect a lot more of a time split between the two of them. You're talking about a 4-4 guy, 40-wise for Kareem Hunt, who's got all the talent in the world. He's primed to blow up in a contract year. I'd definitely be looking at Kareem Hunt towards those middle to late rounds as a definite sleeper. And then the other guy I got, man, is someone who just moved teams. Houston Texans receiver Brandon Cooks. Obviously, he was hampered by injuries last year. I think he had something like 40 catches and 500 yards, missed like 6 or 7 games for the Rams. But he's going to a Texan team that just lost DeAndre Hopkins. And as you can imagine, that's 170 targets he's leaving behind. I would expect Cooks to be fully healthy this year, bounce back, and get back into his form prior to 2019. I mean, you're talking about a guy who averaged 115 catches and 1,100 yards over 4 straight seasons from 2015 to 2018, going and playing with Deshaun Watson. Not a whole lot of competition there in that wide receiver group. They've got Will Fuller, who can't seem to stay on the field. And you know how much Deshaun Watson likes to throw to his number one guy. I expect a prime breakout year for Brandon Cooks there in Houston.
There it goes. Kareem Hunt. Yeah, I've seen Kareem Hunt creeping up on the draft boards on a lot of people's radar. You know, like you said, yeah, you look at Nick Chubb, but if Cleveland is looking to be successful at all this year, Kareem Hunt is definitely potentially going to be an X factor in that offense, especially in the passing game, like you said. You know, 8 catches a game, holy shit. You know, for the last few games.
Yeah, he takes advantage of his touches, man. That guy is explosive.
Brandon Cooks was definitely one of those guys that me personally, I looked at him going, being on Houston, obviously people are going to look at it a little bit, you know, skeptically. You know, but when you do have a guy like Deshaun Watson and, like you said, a guy like Will Fuller, who, when he's on the field, he's on the field. You know, he's, you know, one of the better wide receivers on that team.
Boom or bust, yeah.
But if he's unhealthy, you know, obviously, you know, you got a guy like Brandon Cooks who's averaging over, you know, 100 catches a year, and the guy's got speed. You know, Deshaun, that just lets.
Deshaun's got to throw to somebody, man.
Exactly. So, hey, if you guys are looking for your sleepers and those guys are on your radar, don't be afraid to pick those guys up when you can. So
before we move on,
go ahead.
Quick question. All right, since we're doing the league and stuff, do you guys want to put the stats up for week to week?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that'd be cool.
Stats, we'll put the matchups up. We have the Goat House League, ladies and gentlemen. That is the league we are a part of. We call it the Goat House because why we like to think of ourselves the greatest league of all time. So, you know, we got 12-man league. Majority of us have been in this league for going on 7 years now, something like that. It's been a long damn time that we've been doing this, you know. So now that we have Kay in here, we also got Matchsticks in there finally after a couple of days trying to figure out how to fucking get him into the goddamn league. You know, figured it out, got him in there. Everybody's pumped, everybody's excited. Our draft is going to be next Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. I'm thinking maybe we can have ourselves a little bit of a live draft. I'll be out there in Texas with my brother Caleb. If you guys have heard on the show before we got into the whole YouTube thing, Caleb has been on a couple of episodes with us, so I'll be out there in Texas visiting him for his birthday. But that Saturday, we'll definitely have, or at least we'll see if we can have a little live draft thing going, updates. But week to week, for sure, as the season goes on, scores, updates. NC is going to be excited for the stardoms and situms going at that point. I'm sure we'll have a whole lot more coming for you guys. But until then, thank you guys for joining us. It's been a fun episode. A lot of information, trying to get everything compacted within an hour. Try not to go too far over. A little bit more structured. You know, we got to get a little bit more professional as time goes on. Or we've been shooting the shit and everything all that time before, but we got to get it to a certain point to get it on track and shoot ourselves up into the charts. So thank you guys for watching episode 23 of the Jordan episode of the All-Pro JAFFOs. For myself, for Kountry K, for NC down here, Phoenix Fit, Raise Energy, Groundbreaking Enterprises. Go check everybody out. Go check us out on all the audio platforms, Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all there. YouTube, we got clips. Instagram, go to PBP Sports. We got all the updates, content, and news that you can possibly think of. Go to the Twitter at the JAFFOs AP, Facebook as well. You go to Kountry K. Obviously, find him on his Twitter handle at Kountry K, and as well for the Instagram, he would be paused in this pose for the. I want to see how long he's lasting this, but we don't have that kind of time. Ladies and gentlemen, again, thank you guys for watching. For the three of us here at the All Pro JAFFOs, we will see you guys next week. Later.
Peace.